Yesterday concluded the WNBA season, and today I'm gonna be making a video. This video is gonna be me recapping everything that happened yesterday, going over all 6 games that took place as all 12 teams competed. A few playoff spots were decided, and I'm gonna start with the most important one that most people were looking forward to was the race for the AC between Chicago Sky, Atlanta Dream, and Washington Mystics. The Dream and Mystics both won their games, but Chicago they ended up losing. The Connecticut Sun they defeated Chicago 87-54. It was a blowout. It wasn't close from the beginning. The Sun had 6 players with double digits. Dajane Carrington, I said she was the player of the game with 12 points, 12 rebounds, had a double double. But it was just a great all around game for Connecticut. Isabella Harrison for Chicago, she stepped up. She had 13 points and 11 rebounds, but it just simply wasn't enough. The Sun, they finished the season 28-12, finished third in the league. They're going to be the third seed heading to the playoffs. Chicago, they went 13-27, 10th in the league. They end up missing the playoffs. And like I said, Washington, they won their game. They defeated the Indiana Fever 92-91. Amila and Gester and Ariel Atkins, they both had 17 points. Sika Kone, she had 20 points for the Mystics, and this game was very important because they needed this win, but they needed Atlanta to lose. So the Mystics did their part in getting the win. And then Delasa Smith for Indiana, she had 16 points, 5 rebounds. The starters were on limited minutes. They just played so they could still have some fresh legs going into the playoffs. So Indiana, their starters did play, but they weren't playing a heavy load of minutes. But the Mystics only won the game by 1 point. The Mystics finished 14-26, ended up as the ninth in the league, missed the playoffs by a game. Indiana goes 20-20, 6th in the league. They're going to be 6th in the playoffs, going against the Connecticut Sun in the first round. And then the Atlanta Dream defeated the New York Liberty 78-67. This was Atlanta's third win in a row. They won all their games this week, and they're the 8th seed going into the playoffs. The Dream had 4 players with 10 or more points. Ryan Howard, Tina Charles, Hillman, Alicia Gray. They all had 10 plus points, and they did their thing for Atlanta. They've all been great this week for Atlanta, getting them a playoff spot. Sure wasn't expected, especially after the Sky looked like they was going to have the AC, but then they had some players go out and gave the Dream a chance to get back into that playoff race, and they were able to secure the 8th seed. I don't know why, but the Liberty ran their starters, Brianna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, a few others. They played. Brianna Stewart, she had 16 points, but Sabrina, she only had 3 on a bad shooting night. Wasn't the best look going into the playoffs, but I think they'll be fine. They're number 1 seed for a reason. The Liberty finished the season at 32-8, first in the league, best record in the league. Atlanta finishes the season 15-25 as the 8th seed. The Los Angeles Sparks defeated the Minnesota Lynx 68-51. This is probably the worst game Minnesota played all year, because from the beginning, LA had the lead and they won every quarter points wise, and that doesn't happen to Minnesota a lot, especially with a team like this. But Hamby for the Sparks, she had 20 points, 3 steals, 3 assists, 7 rebounds. She just had a really good game. Nobody from Minnesota scored 10 points. Everybody was in single digits. Like I said, this was the worst game that Minnesota played all year. And this was probably the worst time to have your worst game, as they do finish 30-10 as the 2 seed. But this was not the best time to have your worst game of the year. The Sparks, they had the worst record in the league. They're 8-32, but they got a win to end the season. So I guess they feel some type of pleasure in getting a win to end the season. The Las Vegas Aces defeated the Dallas Wings, who are the second worst team in the league, 98-84. Aja Wilson, Kelsey Plum, they both rested. Two best starters on the team. Get them well rested, had them fully ready come playoff time. Uh, Megan Gufustan and Tiffany Haynes, they both had over 20 points, and Megan, she had a plus 19, and Tiffany had a plus 10. And for people that don't understand the plus minus stats, the better the number, and as long as there's a plus in front of it, that's a good thing. It means that their impact, while they were on the floor, they were outscoring their opponents by that many points. Uh, Saitu Sabali, she went off for the Dallas Wings. She had 25 points, 7 assists. Both teams had 5 players with 10 or more points. The Aces they just out talented the Wings in this game. The Aces finished 27-13. That's the fourth seed in the league, and the Wings, they went 9-31, had the 11th best record in the league, had 12 teams. So it wasn't a great season for Dallas. Then the last game of yesterday, the Seattle Storm defeated the Phoenix Mercury 89-70 in a blowout. The Storm had 7 out of 9 Storm players had 9 or more points. The KK Agumike had 17 points and 8 rebounds. But it was a blowout from start to finish. The Storm, they took off Brittany Griner. She had 11 points and 8 rebounds. But Phoenix, they had 3 starters, Kalia Cooper, Diana Taurasi, and Natasha Cloud. They shot less than 34% from the field, so they can't have a game like that. And Phoenix was the 6th seed for a while, and then Indiana eventually took over. Like Phoenix, they had a really bad last month of the season. They went 3-7 in their last 10 games, and out of all the teams in the playoff picture, that's the worst record in the last 10 games. But yeah, Phoenix, they had a bad end to the season. But that's it for my recap of the final day of the WNBA season. Now, most of these games weren't really close because most of the seeding was decided, but the battle for the 8th seed was fun to watch. It sucks that Chicago ended up in a situation where their 3 best players was out. New York still looks like the best team despite the loss. Phoenix, Indiana is probably the team most likely to get an upset in the first round. But I'll talk about all this in my podcast when I do my playoff predictions. So that's it for this video. Leave a like on it, subscribe to the channel, and comment what you thought about the last day of the WNBA season.